Hey, 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 what's going on? You guys, this is Bridgette Bentley, better known as Bridgette B, and this is the Purpose Party Talk Show. Welcome back. For those of you who watched the show last night, wasn't it great? I know it was. I know you told people because tonight I don't know how we could have done something even better. But we are, because tonight we are talking to the men. That's right. I'm going to give you guys some time right now to log on, go tell your friends, say, wow, they're on, they're on. Look here, where are you at? Again, I need you guys to go get your snacks, go get your celery, whatever you got to get, because we have a show that is going to top all shows. That's right. We have a group of men, not just any men. No, not just any men. That would just be too regular. We have the best men. These fine, strapping young men I didn't purchase them overseas. They are here in the United States. That's right. All five, six of them. Okay. Yes. Handpicked and chosen for this very show. They are going to be talking to us real tonight. So for those of you who saw the show, first of all, put some hearts up if you like the show. All you guys just come on, click, click, click. I know it's a lot of ladies that are now here saying, I'm finally going to get the conversation I've always wanted. They're going to answer my questions. They're going to sit still. They got them trapped in these boxes, and they are going to answer the questions that I've always wanted to know. So, you guys, this is something that is, I guess, once in a lifetime, because I haven't seen it in a while, but, I haven't been everywhere. But I know it's needed, so we're going to have it tonight. I want you guys again to tell everybody that the Purpose Party Talk Show is on. The single man panel is happening right now. Yes, it's happening right now. Listen, these guys here, they have taken time out of their busy schedule to let us know that they are available to answer the questions that we've always had. And I'm excited about it. And I want to thank them for that in advance. So let's give them a hand for being there. Give them some hearts and thank them. Let me see your appreciation for us having these guys here. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me that are sitting here? Say yes. Talk to me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You're a little frozen on my screen. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. Did I do something technical? That was the problem. I'm fixing it because I want everything right. I don't want nobody frozen. Okay, great. So it looks like we're good. Let's see. All right, Ty, tell me, you can hear me, right? You can hear me? Great. Yes. Okay, she said yes. All right, without further ado, I'm going to be introducing these phenomenal people on this panel, all the men in my life, let's just say that. And we're just going to start with the wonderful, the phenomenal Eric Reborvich. Come on, give him a hand. Everybody, all the men, just clap for yourselves. Come on, clap. Yes, Eric is in the building. And then after that, we have our phenomenal Mr. Ellis. Merritt is here. Yes, he is here. He is here. Let's clap. Woo woo. Give him a woo woo. Right. And next after that, we have he's a late addition, but a great addition. His name is Aaron Greene. Come on, clap for him. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah. That's great. And then we have, let's see, I got an echo. All right. And after that, we have our one and only, and it better only be one, Mr. Kerry Neal. Come on, give him a hand. Clap, clap, clap. Yes. Mr. Kerry Neal. All right, and then after that, we have our great and wonderful, straight out of the San Bernardino County, Mr. Joshua Kennedy. Come on, give him a hand. He's here today. And last but definitely not least, this wonderful man here, his name is Mr. Les Lewis, everyone. Come on, give him a hand too. Come on, clap for Les. Yes. Listen, I'm excited about this day. I know this day is something. I'm so glad it's now being recorded, and I got proof that it happened. And so I'm gonna ask everything I need to ask. But listen, you ladies, let me just say this. When I asked some of you to send some questions that you've always wanted to ask a guy, I mean, the floodgates were open. They were totally, totally open. You guys were sending me questions at 2 and 4 in the morning. So let me just say this. If I didn't get to your question, it's only because I had to narrow it down for time. But if we are going to do this again, then we'll get all those questions answered. So I'm going to be let's say every 5 or 7 minutes, I'm going to put my email down to the show. And so that you guys can kind of email me and let me know what your questions are. If we didn't get to your question or something you thought about just spontaneously, I want you to email me. And if you want to participate in something like this, that's maybe not on live, but we're actually on Zoom with a bunch of us together having conversation, male and female, then, let me know that too. So the email that you need to use is thepurposepartytv@gmail.com. Again, that's thepurposepartytv@gmail.com. So send your questions in there. I know that when I said that last night with the ladies, can I tell you that there were people who were emailing me and wanted to have a full, and I mean full conversation. And they were really good. It was really good conversations. And I was like, you know what, people needed to hear this. But I realized that the people are kind of shy sometimes. And so they don't really have, they don't feel like they want to say it in the open. So that's okay. It's fine. I appreciated you giving me your thoughts, but they were such good thoughts that I just wanted to share them with the masses. So if you don't want to do that, like I said, we're going to have our own personal forums and all of that are going to be offline, but yet in a Zoom. And at that time, you can communicate as much as you choose. Now I'm going to ask my brothers here right now, they're going to be looking at their phones because they are sharing this on their page. So if you see them looking down, it's not like they're just being haughty or, not really caring. They are making sure that their people on their Facebook is seeing the show as well, and they're reading your comments. So please know that you're not being ignored. If you're not my Facebook friend, then I may not be able to see your comments. But if you know any of these gentlemen and you're friends with them on their Facebook page, then your comments are being seen and acknowledged. So right now, you guys just take like 30 seconds, look down, make sure that it's on your page. This live is happening on your page. And if you see it, then say, yeah, I see it, Bridget, I see it. And then after that, we're going to get to these questions. Okay, let me set my own self up because, like I said, you guys were really, really talking last night. And there were some good questions. Matter of fact, on the feed, the questions even got, the comments and questions even got better. So, and you were talking into the night. So if for any reason you didn't see last night's show with all lady panel, all the single lady panel, then you need to go and watch that. Don't watch it now because you're doing this live thing, but I need you to watch that, okay? So that when you watch this show, you don't feel like we're not balanced. The women as well got tough questions. They had to answer them. They were thorough in their questions. They weren't man bashing because we don't do that. But things were clear. So, all right. So now let's get to it. Let's get to the nitty gritty on what y'all wanted to talk about. And so I'm going to put these questions out here. They're in no particular order. And some of them are really sweet and timid, and some of them are going to hit them in the jugular. So we're going to get there. Let me put my eye crutches on. Thank you very much. Okay, are you guys ready? Come on, woo, woo, woo for me. You know, what do guys do? All right. Okay, guys, here's the first question. And I asked this of the ladies last night too. What are your top 3 qualities that you're looking for in a potential spouse? And what are your turnoffs? Whoever wants to go first can go first.
I'll go first. Top 3 qualities. I would say I'm looking for a godly woman, a kingdom woman. First and foremost, she has to be led by God. Second, I'm a simple guy. Honesty and loyalty. Pretty simple, and just a communicator. You know, somebody that could communicate. Turnoffs, obviously, dishonesty. You know what I'm saying? Dishonesty, lack of patience. I'm looking for a relationship where, you know, even any issue can come up as long as we got godliness, you know, patience, communication. We should be good. So pretty much that.
Anybody else?
I will go. Turn on a spiritual woman, obviously, a great sense of humor and a love for family. And then turn off would be selfishness, a selfish woman, an uncontrolled attitude, and an inability to cook.
An inability. Okay, let's say it again. What was that again, Aaron?
All three are just the last.
Just the last one. I think they were like, what?
Ability.
Inability to cook.
Hey, y'all. No drive-through women. Drive-throughs. Women. Right. Okay,
Can
who
I
else
add
wants to do?
Can I just add something real quick? In intelligence, I watched yesterday, and I know somebody said on there that they just have to be able to add and subtract. My bar is a little bit higher than that.
Multiplication and division.
Yeah.
The fractions.
We got to be able to talk, have a communication, discuss things, debate things. Even if we don't agree, I want to be able to at least have that kind of conversation with them as well. Like,
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else?
I'll go. So I would say that it's important that she is a kingdom-minded woman. I would also say it is hot. This is absolutely essential. She's got to be vulnerable. If she is not a vulnerable woman, I can't deal with her. And then I also would say that while, we would say by default that they love God, but I would want that demonstrate. I would see that how she treats other people, particularly people who she would not have to treat nice, like the waiter or someone that may be a lesser means and so forth. So I would think the way I see how she treats other people will give me an indication where God is placed in her life. I think the turnoff would be a person who is absolutely unwilling to be vulnerable. So.
Okay. Anybody else?
I think
and intelligence.
No, are we sliding that in? That's so
real quick. Let me not forget intelligence. But to keep it simple, compassion, intelligence, and confidence. And then also the inverse of those would be, well, at least for me, hygiene is like huge, closed-mindedness and being conceited or cocky or self-absorbed. Compassion, that goes along the lines of kindness, but it's in action. So it's something that is displayed. So, and then intelligence, I think intelligence is more than just, your intellectual and stuff like that. There's also this emotional intelligence, which also displays, having some level of emotional stability, having, being able to identify yourself and be able to feel comfortable with yourself. I think that's a sign of intelligence. And then confidence, knowing, knowing who you are. And that, everyone has their confidence coming from different places, whether it's their gifts, whether it's their education, whether it's a resume. But your confidence also coming from, who created you, God is the center of my confidence. Right. And then with everything else, I would love to say it's self-explanatory, but, hygiene, it goes a long way. I think one of the biggest things for a lot of people is, they're not really conscious probably about their own space and stuff like that. And closed-mindedness is, I think, one of the biggest enemies of intelligence. And then being conceited. There's a lot of people that have gone through a lot of different stuff and they're self-absorbed and stuff like that. I think at this space, at our age, where we've all survived a lot, but I think that a lot of times being self-absorbed can be a consequence of sometimes going through traumatic situations where you have been vulnerable to a lot of different things, but you haven't been healed from a lot. So consequentially, you only focus on yourself and your own feelings.
Okay.
Yeah, can't deal with a bougie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys are just on the same page. Eric, you were going to say something?
For me, obviously putting God first in their lives, you see that, like, as long as you're seeing that in their work at church and stuff like that, that they're not just saying things, being able to see what fruit that they're producing, not just saying that they're dreams, but they're actually doing something is what I'm looking for, in a wife. So that goes along with sacrifice. So if a woman is not willing to sacrifice short-term for long-term goals, that's kind of goes in with my turnoff is what I'm looking for is a woman that will sacrifice. So short and sweet, I guess.
Cool. Les, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, everything everyone said is like on my list, really.
Okay,
I would
good.
think that probably the one thing I didn't hear was supportive, someone that supports me and things that are important to me.
Yeah.
Things that are important to me to make that important to her. I try to make sure that I am doing the same thing. So if someone sees that a certain things are important to me, that they don't just, oh, well, that's his life, but actually make it important to her as well. It shows me incentive that she is interested in it.
Okay.
Bridget,
So
can
let
I-
me just say
Can I
this.
slide in one more, Bridget?
Yeah, go ahead.
She's got to be African American.
We're gonna go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's on your list. Okay. Who am I to talk about a list? That's your list. Doggone it.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let me do this. Now, let me just say this. Out of maybe every fifth question was this one question. And I kept going, dang, they want to know this. I don't want to know. Dang, they want to know this. So for all of you girls out there, ladies, women, whoever, girls, who asked this, I'm going to put it on the table for you. And they're not even necessarily prepared. But I think you know the answers, men. How important is looks?
Oh,
How the women want to know that, like they want to know the third combination to the vault in Switzerland. How important?
The looks get you to the party. The substance keep you there.
Say it again.
Oh, looks.
So the looks get you to the party. The substance is what keeps you there.
Okay, so let's define that because that was a man code conversation. What are you saying?
Well, obviously, it's always attraction is a visual, right? So that's you have to make sure that it's compartmentalized as that is what it is, the attraction, right? The attraction leads to other things, which could lead to lust and other things, but the attraction part is just what gets you there. It's the substance is the building of a friendship, the building of the communicating, the sharing with each other. That's where it leads to the further stages of it. But I mean, let's just be real with it. Like nobody walks around with their eyes closed and like I pick you or I pick you. You know what I mean? Like, so of course, obviously, every people have preferences, right? They have preferences of what they're looking for, what they want to find. But even though you have those preferences, you might find that person if the inside don't match the outside. There you have it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that we would be naive and fooling ourselves if men or women would say, well, attraction doesn't matter or looks don't matter, because no man wants a wife that looks like a sea donkey, and no woman wants a husband that looks like Shrek. You know what I mean? Let's just be real. You have to have attraction to someone in order to go down that road to see if you're a match.
yeah.
I just need to know what a sea donkey.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look. You can imagine
cute.
it doesn't look. It's not cute.
Okay.
I think looks is like essential part of the chemistry stage. I think chemistry is absolutely necessary, and and that is a big part of the chemistry. That you do find the person that you're with attractive. I think as at least for me, kind of like identifying like warrior. That's what you want. That's that's your prize. That's something that you're gonna commit your effort because that's what you see for yourself and that's what you want. So I think that attraction is huge, and I don't think that can be neglected. It's not the end all be all, but it's definitely like it's the initial pull, not the sustaining one.
Part of the process.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
have to agree with him on that. Is the initial attraction that gets you to that person, But after that, you get past that though real quick as a man. Just like you really want substance in your relationship. So attraction is obviously the first thing that brings you to the person, but after that, that's not what's important. Is her heart attractive to you? So I mean, you could be around an attractive person for like so long, and then you just gotta kick them to the curb because they're just a terrible human being. So yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about the fact that the question was how important is looks, but a lot of us answered by talking about traction. You know, and sometimes I see that as different. You know, somebody to me can look pretty normal, but when I talk to them, then that attraction starts. Or vice versa, you know. And so I think looks is definitely not as important as attraction, and attraction is still in the beginning, you know. So yeah, looks maybe not as important, but attraction definitely is.
Yeah, she's got to be cute. She
Well,
does.
Yeah, I agree, but
I think look,
attraction is part of that. Attraction is part of that, you know.
I think the looks are a part of the attraction.
Yeah.
Right? Looks are a part of the attraction. The attraction is not the looks, but it's going to be the chemical hygiene, how she smells, how she feels when you touch her, just the attraction from the conversation, the mental stimulation. Yeah. These are all parts that go into the attraction, right? These are all pieces of that. So I mean, once those all come together, you're looking for that next step, right? You're looking for that next level. Then it's doing things with intent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can think about how many times I've actually seen somebody that looked good, but then the minute they opened the valve or they did something right there, it went from looking good to unattractive with 1 second.
Yeah.
You know, I saw them and then they did something. It's like, oh no. You know, so
well, and you know, that's so good to hear, and I think that a lot of women out there need to hear that conversation because women, even in our society, you know, there's so much competition, and everything is really the competition is kind of on the surface, and that happens in magazines, television, all of the music videos, everything that is the contributing factor to how women define themselves, basically. I do know that it's superficial in some senses, you know, because what one man will find attractive, another man will not. So it's really not, you know, my concern on what a man's preference is, because if that's not me, then there's other options for him. And if I'm going to be able to make those same choices, because there's things that are not attractive to me either. So I kind of just say, you know what, please get what you want, because I am. And I do believe that if you choose, you just need to watch how you choose, because if there's something you pick that is will evolve or change, you'll be left with what's left when that changes. So looks phenomenal now, changes, and now what do you have? So anyway, I know that was so, I mean, out of all the questions that I had, that one kept popping up in different ways, different phrases, different, and I was like, oh, that's the same question. So ladies, they answered it. Okay, so you're done with it, y'all? Please. All right, so next question. Okay. Can you handle dating a woman who is might be a little more advanced spiritually or financially? How do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about them making the money?
I'll take that one.
Okay.
For me, spiritually, I would say equally yoked. I would say that we'd have to have like the same understanding. When I say spiritually, I mean like able to pray for people, willing to go out and do what God called them to do is what I see it as spiritually even and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, if someone's a Christian and you're trying to go out there and pray for people, and she's not on the same level as you, it creates a little bit of friction. So when it comes to finances, that's great that she makes more money than me. That just means God gave her more tools than I have right now to help people. So Like for me, my purpose is giving. So if she's got a giving heart and she's got buku bucks, awesome. I don't take that as a slap to the face or like as a downgrade to myself that a woman makes more money than me. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm kind of with him on that as well. So I mean, more advanced spiritual. I'm not really sure what that means. That what she knows more scriptures than me or what. But if she can get a prayer through and can advocate on behalf of me and the family, that's a beautiful thing. So I'm really about that. Financially, and particularly, because my desire would be to be with an African American woman, is that it's a trend show that Black women are out earning and out educated not only their Black male counterparts, but any other gender and ethnicity in the U.S. in terms of their trajectory. So I would anticipate that possibly being the case, making more money or at least making significant money. I wouldn't find that intimidating at all. I would think that's something to celebrate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would support the woman in my life, her spiritual. If the Lord has called her to be an evangelist, for instance, and I'm a deacon, I'm not going to rain on her calling from God. I'm going to support that. Just
Right.
like financially, why would I embrace that? That's just going to bring more to the fold, if you would. I think the balance is a woman financially. Speaking of financially, some women, if they make more financially than you, they think they're over you. It's a balance of knowing you're fine. You might be making more financially, but I'm still the head of the household, and we have to find that balance. So.
I was thinking along the same lines. The finances really going to have to be depending on how both handles it. If she feels that because she's financially doing better financially than say me, the man, how does she handle that? That would definitely be a big factor. Spiritually, I consider that to be a challenge. She seems to be more spiritually than me. That really challenges me to up my game. So yeah, that to me, that's not an issue at all.
Okay, so it sounds like, and I'll just kind of interpret this through the girl voice. You ladies that asked that, if that's a question that you had on your list as well, is that for the statement that sometimes we as women will say is, he's got a problem because I make more money than him, or they're intimidated. That's the word I kept hearing, guys. I should have put that in there. That men are intimidated by a successful woman. So
only the insecure ones that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing probably in the first place, right? So if they're insecure where they're at in the first place, then they're gonna give that same energy out, right, to make themselves feel better. But at the end of the day, it's if she loves what she's doing, she enjoys what she's doing,
Right.
and the money comes with it. That's the fruit of the work that she's doing. So for me, it's just, does she love does she enjoy what she's doing? Does she share what she's doing? You know what I mean? That way I can share with her. You know what I mean? I could be supportive of what she does, and it could be vice versa. So the money is irrelevant. At the end of the day, it's where are you guys together? Is it a team? Is it a union? There shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that you could do together is much more than you could do by yourself. So for me, it's just, is she happy with what she does? Does she like what she does? You know what I mean? Like, because then it's easier for me to be excited about what she does if she is. You know what I mean? And I could be excited about what I do. So
there's no intimidation to approach a woman that is a successful woman.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
I think
to approach her.
Yeah.
To approach her. I mean, no, she puts her pants the same as every other woman. Like she, if anything, it would be more intriguing. It would just be more things to be able to share in or to talk about but at the end of the day, she's going to have a certain confidence. You should also have that same confidence, because like at the end of the day, the money's irrelevant. She could teach you what she knows and you can make the money.
Yeah, my thing is like, why would her capacity and ability to make money, why would that be intimidating? What I'm not even sure where that comes from.
I think some women that are successful deal with men that are insecure about themselves, and therefore they project that onto that relationship. So the woman that's making more money,
Right.
They feel insecure because they're not. It's a man issue, I think, is what Bridgette, is what I'm kind of gleaning
Yeah.
from.
Right.
Yeah.
More the
I think
women,
that's it.
women are dealing with men that are insecure about a woman making more money. And that comes from us, however we raised and are thinking that's something that we need to change.
Well, clearly those men aren't on this panel, right?
Right.
No.
I think
No.
with the overlay of everyone
me
kind of
so-
talking on the space of like partnership, I think if your partner's doing well in one area, that's an opportunity for you. You know, when the overlay is teaming, if the overlay is partnership, then your strength is our strength, and you know, whatever you're good at, that's my opportunity to learn from. You know, if you have financial resources in one space, that doesn't, you know, deny my lack of resources in another.
Right.
So I think that in many spaces, like the more we both come with it, the more we're setting yourself off for less issues. We just got to work on the collaboration. So I don't find that it would be hard to collaborate or even team or partner with someone that's doing better. That's great. That's an opportunity for more combined resources to me.
So let me say this. Would it be challenging? I think it would. As a man and this of course is just a different perspective. As a man to want to be the breadwinner, want to be the covering, a lot of times finance does play a part in that. And so to say, on my part, if it would to say that it wouldn't be challenging, yes, it would be, but it's not a challenge that that I can't necessarily meet. But yeah, it's not like a no-brainer to me. Oh, she makes more than me. Oh, okay, No, it's not necessarily no-brainer. It's not always that simple and easy. Sometimes the fact that she does make more money is kind of like, okay, I want to be the one that's, covering in that area as well. As a man, I like to be able to cover in all areas. I know it's may not be realistic all the time, but that is a desire to be able to cover in all areas. And so to say that it's not a challenge at all, I wouldn't say necessarily on my end.
And that's real.
A challenge.
That's real. That's a different perspective. And I think sometimes women will feel that because we are, corporate and leaders and, executives and or just, entrepreneurs, and we're in our, the top of our game in a sense, that we can't be submissive at home and do what we need to do. And I think that kind of Aaron hit it on the head with that area of insecurity, that how you see me in my gifting call, in my vocation, somehow I'm going to be coming home bossing you around as well. And I don't know how to turn it off.
I think also
at work, but once you get home,
Yeah. So I'm just saying that this is the conversation that I've heard in a little bit of circles, is that the when you get a guy to talk about it, it's almost like, dang, she's always on. So can she turn it off? She's always on. And so does she know how to come through her threshold of her home and go put all that down and now know that I'm the head of this house and submit to my ideas? She's great at making decisions, but can she submit to a decision as a husband that I've made and just not buck?
Well, that's where I'm sorry, but that's where it's important for the man, even though he's not making the money, but he still has to be able to show that he's a leader. Mm-hmm. And you lead from the inside out, not from monetary, right? So, you still lead in other things, even though she might be making more money, but you're still leading, and along the way. And she in turn will allow you to do that, right? When she sees that you're actually leading, it's easier for the woman to submit when you're actually being a solid kingdom leader. So I think it starts there.
That's good. That's good. I believe it. I agree. I concur. Okay, so next question. This one right here, that one's kind of deep right there. So let's lighten it up a little bit. All right. So yesterday we were talking, and so we had this little friendship scenario that we were talking about. And so now I will propose this question to you guys. Can men just be friends with a woman who he's attracted to?
Yes.
Can we be real for a second? So check this out.
No, be real for the whole show.
Here's what I think. If you're attracted to them already, then that changes things, because you could be friends with somebody and not be attracted to them, and then that's a true platonic friendship. But if you already have an attraction to them, and let's say that other person is like, okay, well, I want to be friends, but I'm not attracted to you. Well, then at that point, that the person that is attracted has to take a step back. I mean, because at that point you're going into it with more than the other person is in the sense of being attracted to them, because that attraction leads to lust and more and other things. So either person has to be able to step back and be like, okay, we could be friends, and if that means we want to be friends, then friendship should lead to a relationship. It shouldn't just be you're in a relationship without even building a friendship in the first place. So, I think if you're attracted to somebody and they say, okay, well, we're just friends. Well, how are you supposed to, what if that other person goes on a date with somebody else? You're going to feel.
But let me ask you this with that. So is that her problem? Isn't that your self-control?
No. Yeah, absolutely. But that's where the communication of it comes into play though, right? Like, so if as long as both parties are communicating and letting it and being, direct and intentional with what they're doing from the beginning, then those kind of problems shouldn't happen, because you're communicating it the whole time, right? So if you
come to a girl, I mean, you're already gonna tell them you don't have a friendship. So your first conversation with her is, I'm attracted to you. Or are you gonna keep that to yourself until such time it is safe?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you're not gonna first conversation be like, that's what, unless already that's what it is. Some people already know that's what it is. And at least if they're communicating, you're giving the whole point is give the other person the opportunity to know what's going on, so that they can adjust accordingly or have a conversation back with you about it.
You're asking me, I'm hypothetical.
No.
You're asking me to adjust to your feelings? No.
I'm saying to adjust to the conversation of it, right? So if somebody, okay, so look at it. Somebody comes up to you and tells you, and you guys are starting just an online conversation where there's no attraction because you haven't seen each other yet, right? So you have the conversation and that person sees you and tells you, I'm attracted to you. Okay? Now they're already telling you you're attracted to you, but you're not sure that's where you want to go. You're not sure. So if they didn't at least say that there was attraction there, verbally attraction there, then you're just going along with it in your own world and not understanding what the other person. I think the whole point of this is like communication. If people just communicate both sides, whether it's difficult or easy, then it gives both parties the chance to react in a way that's not going to be like shocking to the other person.
Okay.
What do you? Okay. And so, what else do you guys have to say about that?
Okay, so here's what I would say. Okay, so let me just answer the question, but then I'm going to backdoor the question as well.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm absolutely attracted to some women that I'm friends with, and there could be for a variety of reasons. That is improper for me to approach her beyond just a friendship and so forth, and whatever else. She could be married, a variety of things, whatever else. So yeah, you can be attracted to a woman and just be cool with her. But I want to make this very clear, and let's see if all the brothers will back me on this. Men don't approach women to be friends. If we lead with something that kind of says friends, is code for, okay, I want to sort of establish the pace of engagement. I don't want to come across too strong, but men don't approach women for friendships. We may have to settle for it, but we're not trying to get with you. If we're attracted to you, we're interested, and there may be a way how we handle the way that we approach you. But we don't just approach women who are fine and just says, "Oh, I'm just looking for a buddy." No.
So how do you work on? So then, if that's the case, then how do you work on the friendship?
Well, okay.
Do you now have to suppress what you're feeling and now pull back and work on the friendship, or there's still this bullseye on her head that I'm gonna get you?
Well, it just depends on how you're sort of defining friendship and how the evolution of the engagement is going to take place. I mean, we're all gents on here, so we're going to be proper in terms of getting to know her and so forth and things like that. But we are involved and engaged in a process because we're attracted to her. There are several examples in the Bible where it didn't say that the person was moved by their halo over the head. Boaz saw Ruth from afar and say, yo, who is that? And so then his foreman kind of told him what was going on, but he saw her physically. So I'm just saying this misnomer about this friendship thing may just be a way of making sure we approach things in a proper way in terms of engaging the person. But we're not doing this stuff because we just want to be friends. We like you, and so that's what that's about. Is there any guy on here that don't agree with that?
I agree.
Totally agree.
Is there any guy on here even remotely disagree with what I just said? Ladies, here you go.
I have to say something. Hold on. Because you know what? At least for me, I have female friends. I have some friends that are attractive, and I still think they're attractive. But I think, on a friendship level, like is sustainable, is absolutely is really cool. I think there's multiple purposes that can exist inside the relationship that can outpace any physical attraction. At least so in my space where at least I can say for working with other people, whether for I do training, whether I do gym or whatever other areas in other settings, these friendships were able to absolutely exist, absolutely be respectful, absolutely be sustainable and not cross that line. And I can maintain the friendship without even going in a space where it's this, it's either leading in this direction or it's not.
No. Okay, so I just want to clarify something.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not saying men can't be friends with women. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, me neither.
No, the end of the question is that they're attracted to.
Yeah. It's okay. So if there's a woman that I'm attracted to and I'm open and available and I want to see what she's about, I'm saying I'm not approaching her just for the basics of just trying to be a friend with her. It is because I'm attracted to her and I want to see how far I can go. And it may be modeled for some of that journey in the context of a friendship. But trust me, I'm not looking and scanning for women who I'm attracted to only to be friends. Of course, there are women who are attractive and I'm friends with, but that may not be why it's because I'm attracted to a person, doesn't mean I want to approach it. It means that she's attractive. I can acknowledge her beauty, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of what may compel me to want to speak to her, find out about her, exchange numbers and have that fictitious small talk and whatever else. I mean, that's a different story. Does that make sense?
I agree, exactly.
Bridgette, does that make sense?
I'm gonna say it in a girl way. So that means that every woman in your life that is attractive, there either was a hurdle that you could not jump over to be with her because it's inappropriate, or you don't have no friends that are cute.
Oh, no.
They're all people that you wanted to be with. They all are people.
No. There's an initial attraction, and then there's the mental attraction to a woman. So initially you're attracted to a woman could be attractive, but when you finally get to know her, she's not that attractive anymore. So it's just again, getting to know someone personally and you're taking the time to get to know someone is different than I think what Joshua was saying is that you're just being around them and that you're friends and that you're associating with them. It's not like you're spending 2-3 hours a night talking to somebody, or you're actually taking a good amount of your personal time to actually be with this person. So I think there's a different level of what we're talking about, initial attraction, and then being attracted to their being. So I think there's so many different levels, but when you firstly see a woman, you're like, yeah, she's attractive, and it's just like you want to get to know her, and then sometimes the first sentence they say, you're like, ooh, like that wasn't good.
And so then the default after assessing them for a relationship is, oh, we're just going to be friends.
Correct.
And you still are attractive though.
I think it could be physically attractive, but not mentally attractive.
Well, I think the thing is that it should just be clear, just because you're fine and just because we may be attracted to you doesn't necessarily mean that we want to approach you. But there are some women that we might find attractive and we will want to approach you. And in that context, while some aspects of the evolution of the engagement may be represented in the context of friendship, we're there because we're trying to get with you. So.
Man, be more intentional.
I think it's the slapping of the hands that got me.
Yeah, you know what? Right. I don't think, not to be too intricate, but I definitely think there's a distinction between being attractive and being attracted.
Right.
I can still,
Okay.
you can still maintain. You can be an attractive person, but if I'm continuously attracted while still engaging in the friendship, then it can kind of get into a slippery slope. A little bit.
So that could be the change in the statement of not attracted to, but attractive.
Who's attractive?
Okay, because attractive, it would have probably just answered its own question, because everybody has somebody, everybody's attractive to somebody, so everybody you got is attractive. But you personally thinking, wow, they're attractive, the mission is to somehow be with them. And so I have to now wait.
Some people, it'll just be a friendship, so you don't go any further than that.
Right.
At some point, it just you both okay, well, yeah, they were attractive, but nah, I don't see that. So, but they're cool. So it's a friendship, but it won't be as intentional as if you are attracted to them and you do want something out. Then the man will be intentional at what he does, and we're not talking about like a man just taking you out here and there, and that's what I'm saying, that's sporadic, that's not intentional. You know what I mean? Like intentional is they're focusing on you and giving you the attention that leads to more than the friendship or the stronger friendship.
Yeah, exactly.
So we should not assume as women that if we're getting that extra attention that there's something else that you would like to do. It's just,
you should never assume. Always ask.
No, listen to me. I'm saying.
Don't assume, just ask. Giving me mean something? Like, why assume? Just ask.
No. I'm just saying that because I'm segueing into another question. That's what. Sorry, but because we were talking about the good guy syndrome, and a guy who is just a nice gentleman, period. And so the things that he's doing for the woman are, which should be normal, let's just say that, but you can agree that there's a deficit in just really nice guys that are just being nice and care about you, period, as females, as we should, as brothers and sisters.
So first of all,
let her finish. Go ahead, Bridget. But let Bridget finish. Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is that you're in your gentlemanly ways, and you're taking, the time out to make sure she gets to her car. Did you get home? You're fixing stuff for her. You're just being a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? As you are. And now you see her, and when a girl likes you, when a woman likes you. I hope you know. If not, I'll show you later. But that's a class. It's $59.99. But
really, what
you notice that she's taking it out of context, and you're genuinely, you've done this for her, but next week you'll see yourself doing it for someone because it's just the gentleman in you. You know what I'm saying? And but you see her think something else. Do you immediately communicate? I know you do, Ellis, because you're like, communicate. But do you immediately make sure that the record is straight? And how do you do that without hurting her?
That's very hard. I've had that problem because I'm very gentlemanly, and I kind of, my interactions with, sometimes they take it as flirty, and I'm just being myself and kind of gaining.
Exactly.
in order, if I notice that they like me that way, to really try and just say, oh, I don't like you like that. I personally wait for them to confirm that they like me, and then I'll have that conversation. I won't just assume that they like me because they're, oh, here's, I bought you a cupcake or something. So she may just be being nice in return, and I can misinterpret that as, oh, she likes me.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would say though,
That was a question. I just segued into it,
I think it also goes into what is the man's intentions as he's doing. Gentleman things are gentleman things, right? But then it goes a step beyond where you might be doing something that's beyond a little bit step beyond gentleman things that's going to make the growth, right? Like
he just makes sure she got home okay.
then,
He opened the door for her. He found out that she had a son and there's no dad, and he wanted to go to the game. So the guy came over and took the boy to the game. She had a flat tire. He made sure that the tire was fixed. You know what? Let me make sure all of them are fixed.
Well, I think all those examples, you're talking about going extremely out of your way, like a flat tire, unless you're driving behind the person, you have to drive to. So if you're taking that time to do something, I think that there's like chivalry is like, I open the door no matter what woman comes into my door. I was taught to open the door, walking through it. That's how my mom taught me. But if you're talking about like going to see their son and make a connection just with their family, it goes back to making, I think a man makes an intention to do something. And I don't know. I just, unless you're really good friends with that person, and I don't see that happening. That's from my perspective. I just don't see that. So if a woman makes a pass or something and says, hey, like, you've been helping me out, I kind of like you, do you want to go on a date? And it's just like, no, I just, you didn't have any other help, so I came out here and helped you. So I guess it needs to be distinguished right away, like right away, so there's no miscommunication about what the intentions are.
Yeah, but I would also say this too. I think we as men have encountered this enough where maybe we're being gentlemanly, we're exercising, chivalrous behavior or whatever the case may be, and maybe it's misinterpreted. I'm not saying that every man is going to do this, but if we're assisting a woman in a certain capacity, there's something we may just do without thinking, like you said, being chivalrous, opening the door or something like that. Hey, this will make sure you made it home safely. It's just kind of a covering thing, not that you're trying to get at her or anything like that. But I think if there's maybe an enormous amount of attention shown to her in some capacity, it might be important for us to be proactive and say, hey, look, I just see you need some help here, wherever else, and I just want to see if I could be a blessing to you, and then kind of move on. But yeah, that stuff happens all the time, unfortunately. And sometimes could be a byproduct of the deficit, a woman not really having received attention in some sort of a genuine way and so forth, and kind of get her going. But I think we as men need to be thoughtful and sensitive to those things as well, because it can be misleading.
Yeah. And it's, I guess too with it is, I believe with friendship, and I think, I'm just going to say the F word, friendship, but it really is, I mean, I wouldn't question my natural brother. I would expect him to be that, you know what I'm saying? So if I don't have any brothers, which I don't, then yeah, my expectation would be, oh, I'll call so-and-so, he'll help me. Or if you were like, Bridgette, you done talked about this so long, let me just come and fix the darn sink,
Right.
It has to become, I guess what I'm saying is, I know sometimes that there's a risk of it being misunderstood, but it's just like we were talking about, it should happen, but it's such a deficit that it gets misinterpreted because it's so rare.
Right.
And is the risk of it so much that we can't focus on the reward of it, which is, I'm really just trying to show that this is what we as men of God and to our sisters in Christ should be. So instead of us it's kind of a selfless thing. It's like, you know what? It's maybe a bit misunderstood. I'll just take the hit on that. I'll make sure, I'll just keep saying this is just who I am. So that they can just at least know what a good guy looks like, and somebody who's really out to hurt them, who's doing it for something, they're not at such a deficit with a major risk. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that's what happens. When you find a girl that gets caught up, a lot of times it's because of the deficit that sometimes our Christian brothers won't fix or feel, because they feel like, oh, I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. That's risky. But communication is the key. Now, of course, if you tell them and now it's still misinterpreted, then you out, you ghost.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now we should now here's the thing: we should be able to be friends without the flesh and being involved in it altogether. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, like, yes, that's how it should be. But I feel society and just the programming of how people are, we're so programmed the opposite way that the flesh automatically comes up like first every time, instead of, building that friendship, without having the flesh be involved in it.
Now let me say this, Mr. Communication. Then we need to then what is the use of communicating? Because if I'm communicating, like, we go back 2 questions, and now you told her, well, we need to communicate. Okay, so you're communicating with this young person, this young lady. You're coming in to say, I'm just here to help you. It's not like you're over there at 2 a.m. going, yeah, I'm just trying to fix your sink. Well, we know that you could have fixed it at 2 p.m.
Right.
But
right.
It's a date, Sam. It's a Saturday. That kind of thing. You don't come necessarily. You're doing everything appropriately.
Right.
But you just have to keep that lines of communication open. And then, like I said, if people don't hear it, then you realize, you know what, I've done all I can do. Maybe I need to pull out a little bit. Right. So I'm just saying that because what the backdoor mission I'm trying to create is, I don't want it to be that we settle in that we're not going to do that because there's so risk involved, because it's needed. You know what I'm saying? Because we as women, let me just put it in reverse and then I'm on to the next question. Because of that situation as well, I could be sitting at home with stuff that's not fixed, or I could be somewhere where I'm at a risk somewhere, and how, but I'm so scared about what you're going to think when I call you. I don't call you.
Right.
And then somewhere we're in a conversation a day later and you going, why didn't you call me? And I go, well, that flesh. I don't want to get all caught up in that flesh. You would tell me straight out, you got to talk to me. That's not who I am, girl.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, the maturity of having a friendship relationship, right? Like, people have to be mature enough to, like, if you're calling because you need help, you got a flat tire on the side of the road, and the man is thinking that's a flesh call. Well, that's probably not the guy you should be calling in the first place anyway, right?
Same way you shouldn't go over and fix the girl's sink if she gonna think that you gonna fix hers too. Her plumb.
But someone on my got shared the watch party here on Facebook, and Michelle Johnson, she chimed in. She said, just as a rule, make no assumptions. Just say, hey, look, just keep the airs clear.
Don't assume.
Don't assume. I totally agree with it. Yeah.
Somebody said that. Okay, next question. Let's move on. So the next question is, do you have or feel that it is important to have an accountability partner in your life? Do you think it's important, and do you have someone that's going to keep you in check, that you're going to tell them everything, and they're not the wink wink buddy that's like, oh man, do what you do. Not that guy, but somebody that is really you're going to share everything and they're going to keep you in check.
I have 3. I have my mentor, which is 93, another mentor, which is 65, and then I have a female that I talk to about everything, because I want to have a balance when I'm in relationships. I go to her if I'm having issues with relationships. I talk to her because I want to get a female's perspective. So I try to get someone that's in my age group, and then people that are older than me to actually give me knowledge that I didn't think of. So I think it's really,
I don't have any female accountability partners, but I do have a really good buddy who's in Philly, and we can share everything and definitely keep each other in check. And then I've been really blessed to have a number of brothers out here that I know I can go to and tell me what's going on and so forth, and we can support one another as well. So I'm really blessed in that fashion. And I think it's imperative to have someone like that in your life, personally.
Anybody else?
Yes, I definitely do. Matter of fact, I have a few. I have a team of brothers that I meet with probably once a month. And then we also keep in touch with each other throughout the week. And so out of that team of brothers, there are some that I am closer to that I do share pretty much everything with. So yeah, definitely have that accountability partner.
Accountability is definitely like, it's an essential beam to growth. You know, any person that's in the space of trying to grow, like in any capacity, has to have accountability. And, you know, so I definitely think accountability and me having accountability has been entirely important for growth in any space.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. I think.
Okay, so listen. Oh, who's that? Eric?
I was gonna say, as a younger man, I think it's really important to have someone that's older, that's been through life, that you could bounce out ideas off and check your blind spots, because a lot of times you could be looking at a situation totally that, and they give you some kind of advice or just some kind of knowledge that just really puts you in the right direction. So I think accountability and having mentors in different aspects, especially if you're trying to grow, like Joshua said, and if you're doing business, you should have multiple mentors and definitely an accountability partner.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to take a quick commercial. Now listen, virtual, those of you who are out in virtual land, if you have questions, I need you guys to, put them in the comments. I'm gonna let the guys look in their comments, and while they're looking in their comments to find any questions or any responses or anything, because we do want to acknowledge you. You guys are part of this program as well. You're part of our virtual panel. You've heard all the things we've talked about. You can kind of put things in the comment. And again, I'm going to say that if you have any questions that we haven't covered, or these conversation is kind of provoking some questions, and well, what about this? I need you to email me at the Purpose Party Purpose Party Talk Show. What is it? The Purpose Party TV at gmail.com. So I need you guys to email me. Don't just comment and talk only in the comments. I need you guys to send those statements to me, send me those questions. Also too, after this is over, the guys have promised me that they're going to keep their eyes on the comments. So if we missed anything and the show is off and you go, wow, when you guys are sitting somewhere really discussing it, put it in the comments. They're going to be watching and they're going to be responding to you guys. You know their names. If you don't, I'll repeat them before we're over. And you can say, hey, Kerry, hey, Aaron, what about this? And within the 24 hours, they're going to reply. And that creates some good dialogue. All right. So next question, you guys. Here we go. What is the biggest fear of a man when showing his emotions or being transparent? What is your biggest fear?
Oh, she's going to use it against us.
Yeah.
She's going to weaponize it. You know how Amy Cooper did that guy in the park in New York and weaponized her white privilege and so forth. It gets weaponized.
So when a woman tells you, I need you to just open up, I need you to talk to me, tell me how you feel.
Exit stage right now.
Yeah. What do you feel? How do you interpret that?
I see it as in my travels, I will say that most women have tried to use that as ammunition to use against me later.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I have a female person that I speak to, because they can give me that perspective without judging me or using it against me. But when a woman, if I'm in a relationship with a woman and she asks me that, I'm gonna walk softly until I feel that it's not going to be used against me.
Right. And the interesting thing is, I personally want a woman who's willing to be transparent and I can be transparent with. Right. But to the degree that takes place, I hope I have the confidence that would not be something that she would stoop to, even in the most difficult circumstances. So,
can I say, recently I had, in my walk, I do this devotionals in the morning, and there was a morning where God spoke to me and he asked me, whose ear do you have? I'm a super secluded person. I'm, not very super social. So I kind of was a hermit for a long point in time. But as I'm walking this walk and God's opening me up and having me feel things that I haven't felt in such a long time. One of the things he asked me was like, whose ear do you have? Who do you trust enough that you could speak like your deepest, darkest, like whatever secret that was, and it was a revelation for me that I was able to change my environment to have a couple people like that I was able to go to and release that. And it felt amazing. It felt amazing to be able to do that and find that, that person that will listen, not judge, just be there and to let you know what, be supportive in what you're doing. So, I think it's important that if you can find that person, and usually it's going to be somebody that is in that walk with you, that they also do that and they can understand your vulnerability and not use it against you, at a later time. So again, that's where I think where it comes to like, who's that person you're telling that to? That person, that should be a person that you built that foundation of friendship and, solid, grounded foundation that you can do that to. And once you're able to do that, you'll see, that it's quite an opening, eye-opening thing to experience.
Aren't women always saying a man's been playing with my emotions? A woman doesn't want to be her emotions played with. So a man in kind, we don't want our emotions played with and our vulnerabilities played with and used against us. So it's the same thing. A woman will open up slowly to a man, and a man open up slowly to a woman until they create that environment of trust.
Yeah. Really quick,
I'm gonna say this statement just for you guys. I'm gonna go to you, Kerry.
Okay.
Is another thing that I just want you guys to just clear up. A lot of women feel that men don't have feelings. They just don't have feelings. Because the way they treat us, I'm just gonna be. This ain't me talking, okay? But they don't have no feelings.
Well, we're taught from a young age not to have any, right? Like,
talk to the women, tell them what's going on. I'm just telling you, they've come to a conclusion. So you tell me why. Because their thing is, nah, you don't have no feelings.
If I can say, I think with the whole feelings conversations, I think at least I can speak for myself, is that I kind of look and see how someone handles their own feelings. And it kind of lets me set the channel in which I can kind of release and vent my own. I really try to see what's their relationship with truth and honesty, and kind of in that space, like just like as the same tone as everyone else is saying, kind of slowly, kind of how it, just depending on what the situation is, but slowly unfold, slowly unmold, slowly reveal. Once that truth is established, or once that you have that safe space, and that's where I think that it could come through. But most times, at least for me, sometimes not all transparency always means vulnerability. If you're already in a space where you're comfortable with truth,
sure,
it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I could be transparent all I want, and it doesn't mean you have me open.
Sure.
Necessarily.
That's good.
The openness comes with the relationship, that comes with consistency, that comes with how you handle it. So honestly, I would already gauge how your relationship and your stewardship of truth is before I even open up in that space. And I will trust you with the level of your ability to hold the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they deserve.
Can I respond really quick? So,
yeah.
Okay, because a friend of mine, Inez Spates, she asked a question, said, well, how can women create a safe space so that men can feel comfortable sharing and so forth? And this is how I would respond to that really quickly. I would say that we watch how you respond to the small things and how you trip over the small things. And if you trip over those small things, it already informs us how you're going to do with something a little more substantial. So I love what Josh was saying, is that sometimes, a lot of times we just like have really honest conversation, but to open us up and be transparent. Well, we kind of already see how you respond to certain people, and it may be to us, it could just be to other things. So yeah, and I think that's important, because I think, and unfortunately, this is the case, that a lot of women, maybe they've been hurt, things like that. So their triggers can be set off really easily. And maybe they haven't been healed from a past situation, whatever else, and you bring it to that, and it could jeopardize the current relationship that may be sort of percolating. But I think it's just really important. I mean, just the same with men dealing with women. You know, we want to be open and understanding what they're going through and so forth. So there can be mutual transparency and openness. But yeah.
And to that, Kerry, I think that men are, when we communicate our feelings, we may not say as many words as a woman talks way more than men do. Women have way more mouth minutes than men do. So a woman might ask me how I'm feeling, and I might have 3 words to say, and I'm really expressing how I feel. But if I ask a woman the same question, you get a 10-minute conversation. That's just, and I think women sometimes think that if we don't say a lot of words, we're not communicating or we're not expressing ourselves fully, wherein we may be.
I also think that when women ask questions, they've been thinking about it for a week or two. And then for us to just, like you said, have a full-on conversation about something, we haven't even thought about things. Or, sometimes women will they're upset, so they want to know how you feel. And it's just like they come maybe at a different way. So it's just like it depends on how we're also approached. So if we're approaching a hostile way, then we're just like, we'd rather just not say anything, because no matter what we say is going to be wrong. But if it comes to a different situation where it's just like, you've been stewing on something for 2 weeks and you ask us, and all of a sudden it's just like, we don't really have an opinion about something. That's not that we don't have feelings about it. We just haven't thought about it.
And it's true, or is it true? Let me say that sometimes men need to process. They need to go away and process and then come back and talk about it. And we want the answer now. Where do you gotta go? We don't want you to leave, because we think leaving is rejecting or avoiding the conversation, and it could be avoiding, but sometimes you need to go away and process it.
Right.
And then come back, so that one, you say you're clear on what you mean. You don't say something crazy, because I know I'm going to admit this, ladies. Okay, I'm going to put us out there, because we already know what we're going to say, and we've had the full conversation. That means we've already spoke your words as well. So if you didn't get the script and you say something off the script, we're even mad at you, because we're going, no, what you were supposed to say was, and it's like, oh, so you gonna talk to me? You gonna tell me what I'm supposed to say too? Oh no, I'm doomed. So yeah, we have a lot of words, and so we use the rest of our words on your conversation, on your script. So we don't get
you
that.
You got to give us that script.
We got to type it out. That's what we got to do. Okay. So next question: Do you prefer that a woman? I guess it's kind of like, do you prefer for her to tell you all of her past all at once, or do you want her to just sprinkle it on you?
I will take this one. I would not rather have to go through a therapy session about the entire past and everything that's bad. And I mean, it's a journey that you're supposed to be going on, and you're opening up, and you're supposed to be telling people about things, how you feel comfortable, and how situations, why you possibly act the certain way that you do. But I think that so many people are like trying to find everyone's red flags like right at first, so they're just like dumping their whole entire past on people, and it's just like so no, through a process, I would say.
Yeah, I don't think I want to know everything about a woman's past. I think the past that's relevant to our relationship, or if it comes into our relationship, that's relevant, because I'm not going to reveal everything in my past just because you want to know everything. And I don't expect you to reveal everything in your past, because if it's not relevant to what we're doing, what does it matter?
No, dude, what you trying to hide? What you trying to hide? What you want to talk about?
Now that hits on something. Is it hiding, or is it just on a need to know basis to protect you.
Yeah, it is. It's on need to know basis. You know, there's that old expression: the best way to consume an elephant is one bite at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to unload and say, well, here's everything I have going on and so forth. Nobody really wants to like, oh my God, and so forth. It should be an evolution, evolve. It takes time and so forth. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean.
Okay, guys.
Anybody else? And knowing someone's past could actually, I was in a relationship and when I got into this relationship, people came up and gave me that person's past, and it affected our relationship because it was stuff that I didn't need to know. It was just people throwing dirt in our relationship, and it affected it. So some past is not for me to know.
Or doing research on people and
never review
private investigator trying to find out about who you are and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just bad.
Yeah.
And I think if you tell your past to someone and they're not safe, then you basically gave them the roadmap on how to destroy you.
Yep.
Because it's, you know, you tell them about a past relationship and what he did and all of that. And then, you know, all they got to say is, and how do you feel about that?
Right.
Like, well, yeah, I can't stand when a man does this. They're like, okay. And they're writing, do that to destroy her. So sometimes it's like, you know, it's need to know. I think it's a need to know, and I appreciate you guys saying that. Okay, so this is the next one. Now, listen closely. Marriage is a lifelong commitment. Okay. Hold on, I lost my place. Lord, let me get my eye crutches. Walking without my cane. Here we go. Okay, marriage is a lifelong, huge commitment. Have you put in the time, the learning, the training, and the self preparation as much as you would if you were going to purchase a house, a car, or start a business?
Okay, so I'd like to answer that first really quick. And I'll use a quote from Donald Bell, who will be on tomorrow, who's been my mentor and my spiritual pop as well. So he uses the analogy. He says that you can drive wherever car you want to, up and down the 405 freeway as fast as you want to, but it won't prepare you for the Indianapolis 500. And his analogy is saying that you can do whatever you can to prepare for marriage, but invariably something's going to pop up in marriage that you didn't prepare for, and you just have to be committed to just being there. So there may be things that we know that we must do, like so maybe straighten up our finances, you know, understand how to share, other factors that may be common in terms of what may be pillars to a successful relationship and marriage. But at the end of the day, something's going to come up that you didn't prepare for, and it's really just going to challenge you and your spouse to just be there and be committed. So so personally, I feel though that's the case with me, but I also am aware that things happen and those things may be challenging. Not that I'll go run to the divorce court, but I just understand things can get difficult, even though you may have done all you can do to prepare for it. So.
I agree with Kerry, but what I will say is that I feel like I'm more ready now than I was, before. Yeah. Before, I feel like marriage was like a business contract, or it was like a way for the government to keep track of you. You keep track of you. Now I see it more of like the process of it, the learning about the other person. The taking the time, the 6 months a year engagement, going through the marriage counseling process, with your pastor, with the, now I see that process, which I never knew a year ago that was even real. I didn't know anything about that. But now that I know that it's real, that's something that I do want to go through. I do want to do that process. I've tried all the other ways and they don't work. The worldly ways don't work. Mm-hmm. You get worldly response for being in the worldly world. So I feel like the way that I'm learning now is a much thorough, and it's a much more solid foundation of building a unit, a team, a oneness with somebody. So I feel nobody's ever ready. I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm prepared for the work that it's going to take.
Well, it sounds like to me that what she was referring to as well, just to kind of get a little bit more thorough on the question is, guarantees are, someone can tell you step by step on what's going to happen in any huge endeavor, but there's still, spontaneity and life happens. But, the more you study up on it, when life happens, at least you're not so much prepared, because it could be something no one's ever gone through, but at least, collecting more and more knowledge about it, makes you at least a little bit more wiser about it. And also it allows you to consider it seriously, as opposed to, well, I'll never know everything. It's kind of like, no, let all these people who are walking and tell you everything. And so that you can have yourself lined up with it to really just say, I got to do this seriously, or it's going to be a wrap. So I think that's kind of what they went. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. No, maybe. Yeah. Okay. Next question is the way I hear silence. That's the kind of woman I am. All right. This one is it. If you knew, now listen, virtuals. Okay. Listen to this one. If you knew, how many of you guys have daughters? That's all I want to know. You guys on the panel, you have daughters. Okay. Everybody except for Josh. Okay. If you knew that your daughter would end up with a man that was just like you, emotionally and spiritually, the way you are right now, would you still think you were ready to get married right now? I'll repeat the question for those going, huh? Let me do it again. These are to the guys and to the people outside in virtual. If you knew that your daughter was going to end up with someone just like you are, spiritually and emotionally right now, would you still think that you're ready for marriage right now?
Can I say only because I have Jesus leading me, God leading me, that even if I'm not ready, I know God is going to prepare me for the changes, for the not readiness. So I would say, yes, I would say yes.
And you would be just as, you know what, this guy is a knucklehead, but I know God's got him.
But you asked me, like, right now, I'm not a knucklehead, so he wouldn't be a knucklehead.
No, I'm saying but I'm saying the grace that you're giving yourself is all I'm saying. I'm saying the knucklehead. I apologize about the knucklehead. But what I'm saying is the grace right now that God will give you, are you still going to rely on that grace for the guy that walks through the door for your daughter?
Absolutely, because God is my source, and He's gonna provide. I'm gonna walk the walk, and my daughter's gonna see that I'm walking that. She's gonna choose somebody that's that same way. So I have confidence that He's gonna know that God is his source, and it's gonna lead him to make all the right choices and all the right things. So I would have to. I have faith in God, and God's gonna have them do the will that He wants, not what the young man wants, the knucklehead wants. Right. So
okay, let's take the knucklehead out. I've apologized openly to America. Okay, ladies, do you hear me apologizing? I apologize. Okay, for the knucklehead, and no more knucklehead. All right, and let's give that grace that Jesus gives.
So
okay.
if the question was the man I would say no.
No, it's the now.
But the question is the man I am now. And so with that, thinking spiritually, emotionally, yes, I will feel comfortable with that, because I know where I am now as opposed to where I was. And so if she would marry, she was to be involved with a man like I am today, then yes, I would definitely sign up for that.
That's a yes from the rest of you?
Yeah.
For me, I teach my daughter to be praying and to be investing, and I teach her all kinds of different stuff. She's only 10, so I'm already just kind of trying to teach her how a man is supposed to treat a family, how a man is supposed to treat a daughter, and eventually how a man is supposed to treat a wife. So yeah, I would honestly say if I could see, well, she's only 10, so if I saw if I saw that older version or that younger version of me walk through that door, and he was walking in his purpose, he was praying for his family, and he had a broader vision of what he had and had a plan, and he was working his plan. I mean, I'd be pretty proud of my daughter for finding that man. So
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. Now, the question is only for those in the virtual. The question is not necessarily to trip them up. It sounds like that the girl just made them think deeper about assessing themselves. That's all. So that's what it's about. It's about, you saying, I know me better than anyone, obviously, other than God. So I know my flaws. I know my challenges. I know what needs to be worked on. So, just saying, are you ready? Or was it like, you know what, give me another 15 minutes, then I'll be ready. So, and because it's the opposite of the question we proposed to the women yesterday, when we asked them, do you feel like you're ready right now to get married? Or do you feel like there's some more things that you need to work on? And so that made them think to be able to answer that question too. Okay. Anybody else want to expound on that? Okay, guys. Well, guess what? We are at the last two questions. For those of you who are out in the virtual land, again, I will do my commercial that I need you guys to communicate with me at thepurposepartytv@gmail.com. And as I did yesterday, I'm going to end with the same question that I asked the ladies yesterday. First question, second to the last question is, what do you feel that women need to know about Christian men? Anybody go?
We are a constant work in progress, and as we work with you, you should work with us.
Good. Everybody has to answer, though. I'm sorry. Everybody has to answer.
Yeah.
We're not the pastor.
Huh?
What'd you say?
We're not the pastor.
You're not the pastor?
We're not the pastor.
The pastor.
They need to know that. And, just like Aaron said, we are a work in progress, but also as a Christian man, we are not like what you see in the world or what the media portrays us to be. But our focus is different. Our focus is different, so therefore our actions is different. Expect different from us.
Yeah. Yeah, and even though God is that Jesus is our Lord and Savior, we men still have fragile egos.
Yes.
Okay.
I will say this. I think that even though that we're Christian men, when a woman gives us advice, that it takes us time to process, to go back to the whole thing, and to give us a little bit of grace through our process time, is that they may hit us with some truth and some adjustments for us, but we gotta have some time to think about it. So we got to go to the Father as well. So
Right.
and He'll humble us. So that's one thing sometimes that us men, we have to think about it, and we have to go to the Father about like why we're frustrated. So and it just takes time to understand that. So that's one thing I think women should hear, is that men have to go to the Father and ask what's going on, because sometimes we're like, we don't even know, we just got hit with something, we're like, wait, why are we upset? So
Okay, that's good. All right, Josh?
I'm kind of split on the on my answer, as because I feel like when it comes down to like women looking at Christian men, I think it's just always important to know, one, if you're talking about Christian men, it's really important that you know your worth for yourself, and you know absolutely who you are first and foremost before you try to identify another man. Two, I would say that as you deal with a Christian man, just says the same thing that everyone else says. The same great. I feel like the same grace that we identify with should be is the grace that we typically express. So it's definitely important that you yourself know what grace is. And I also think that grace and truth need to go hand in hand. Be honest, be truthful. Everyone is mutually responsible for clarity. And and then as it relates to supporting a Christian man, I also think it's very important that you know be just remain be prayerful, and then also just everyone has, I think that the title Christian in many spaces can easily give someone like, okay, that's the green light, and it's not a all true opening door. A lot of people have a lot more awareness than they do have development, so it's important that we do recognize maturity, and realize whether you're being unequally yoked or not. And then as a Christian man, I think it's important that we have responsibility for to remain God fearing, and to treat women as daughters of the Most High. So that's all I feel.
Ellis?
I agree with everything Josh said. He
Okay.
said it all right there. That he was on point with it. I agree with that all.
Okay, and then our finale question is, that was basically what you want the Christian women to know. And so this one in here is the last one is just period. What do you think the biggest misconception of Christian men are that everybody thinks, that things that you've heard, or it's the total misconception, they're just so off? Wow, the silence is so loud, guys. Do you feel like, let me expound. Do you feel like you guys get a bad rap? Do you feel like it's somebody's messed it up for all of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a number of women over the years that have been involved in the church say that the men in the church are no different than the men in the world, so we might as well just deal with the men in the world. If I had a penny for every time I heard that, I'd be a millionaire.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna sneak this in because I didn't get y'all to say this, but one of the questions I wasn't gonna ask, but since you said that, was there a lot of well, not a lot. Let me shut up. It's this one chick, but but one girl on the paper was like, it seems like they say they want Christian women, but when it's time to get married, they're out in the streets going to pick up the folks that don't know Jesus yet.
Well, I think a true kingdom man really wants to build a relationship before, and I think women tend to think that all our mind is one track about sex. And as much as we're looking to build a relationship too, I think that they're comparing us to people that are of the world. And just like Kerry said, it's just like before we even get to know someone, they already have a misconception of what our intentions are. And it's just at the point where like you can't even get around it. And it's just like they put their past relationships or their past experiences, they're just waiting for you to slip up, just like to stay in their mind, well, already painting this picture of them. And it's just like, I just waited for them to hit that point, and it's like, oh, see, you're just like the rest of them. And it's just, I don't know, it just misconceptions of what our intentions are too. So I mean, as much as the ladies were talking yesterday, like we want a friendship too, as much as they do, because we don't want to go down the road and be like, I didn't even know who you were, and now we're married, and now here we are. So I think that's a misconception, that we just are one track mind, and we're trying to get through the friendship process as fast as possible to get to the the romance and stuff like that, which that's not necessarily the case.
And I'm gonna take this last question. I'm sorry, only because one of the girls goes, you're asking us to ask questions and you're not answering the questions.
Right.
Okay, here's this one question. I'm gonna pull it from Virtual World. How serious are you about your purity?
About your who?
Purity.
Oh, purity. Okay.
I'll answer that first. The few dates that I've been on, I've made it clear that until we actually have a good friendship, I don't even want to kiss at that point, because I don't want to tie to people, have any feelings with people if God's that's not truly what God has for me. So I make it abundantly clear that for myself, I can only speak for myself, but there has to be some kind of friendship to where that you have that feeling of just like, I can't hold back anymore, that I want to kiss this person, not just, oh, I need to kiss this person to feel connected to them. So for me, it's getting to that point where you can't hold on, and sex before marriage is just, that's just out of the question.
Next, people.
I agree.
It's quiet.
I mean, it's like crickets in this old Presbyterian church.
So I'll say,
They
because-
want to talk. They want you to talk.
Come on,
about that.
Les.
Would you
Les,
just-
what's up with your purity, bro? Les, what's up with your purity, bro?
so I'm trying to say it.
What happened was,
I've had a very hard head in the past. So yeah, I take my purity much more serious than I did in the past. I take my purity very serious because I've learned by being spanked by the Lord very well that the roads that I've taken by not respecting my purity did not lead to a place I wanted to be. So yes, I do take my purity very seriously. And so yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, so for sure. And yeah, smashing while you're a Christian is it's not the business. And I certainly have gotten caught in that hole before as well. So yeah, we're about that period of life for sure.
Okay. All right. I was just looking at my text. I'm so sorry. You guys look in your text real quick, and I mean your comments real quick. And it's because one of my friends, my daughter's even texting me going, ask her question. So I'm just trying to find it. Listen, Rosalind, if you're out there, ask your question real quick for me. She's out of state. So that's the reason why I'm catering to her, is because she is staying up all night to watch this. And she has a question, and my daughter's like, answer her question. And I'm like, I can't even see it. So Rosalind, ask your question again, please, so that I can, my daughter doesn't go off on me again. Because the gentlemen are waiting, so will you ask it quickly, please? So that
to further expound on the purity, I know a lot of women see men that go to church and they're not walking in their purpose. They're just coming on Sundays and checking off the list. I mean, women really got to look at men that are following the word of God, that are in the word of God, that are actually know the word of God, because a lot of men just show up to church because their booze or whoever they're trying to impress just want them to show up. But you got to know the difference between someone that's following their purpose and actually reading scripture and is praying and is doing the things that he's called to do. Because if you're going to compare that to someone that just shows up on a weekend that just, was drinking the night before and is hungover, like, I think the comparison is just completely unfair. And I think, women see that because honestly, most people are online dating. So they don't see a true kingdom man that is knocking on their door or that is walking in their purpose. They just don't see him. And then they want to compare us to, the people that are out in the world. And it's just like, it's real, going back to the unfair comparison. I mean, if you're going to match someone up, and if, they don't know scripture, they don't know anything about God, like, how can you say that's a godly man then? So, I mean, to group all men in purity, I'll admit there's less men than there are women that are trying to be pure, but there are men out there. So that's all I could say about that.
I don't know about that, man. It's just like, I don't know about that.
About there's more women.
You're saying there's more men that's trying to smash than women trying to smash.
I'm not saying that. Well, let's go to this.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, let's go this, that there's more women in church than there are men. So if that's the case, I mean, I'm not saying, if you're making the point that there aren't women out there that want to smash as much as men, but there's definitely more women in church than there are men, and it's a glaring problem in the Christian community right now.
Sure.
Well, we know we'll move on from that, and we're going to just know that sin is running rampant in the church because right now there's not, because church is closed. So Here's the two questions that I got. One of them wants to know, I'm not really sure on what it means that a guy is interested in her. So just define that for this young lady. What does it mean that he's interested?
What level?
Huh? Don't know. She just said she obviously picked up on something you guys said.
I would say that he wants to be more than friends. I would say that's what interested means.
Okay. And then the second one was, do you guys believe in dating more than one person at a time?
No.
No, absolutely not.
Not anymore.
No.
Absolutely not. That's
She said that's not everybody. So everybody answer, please. Okay, Aaron,
Well, hold
do
on.
you feel like you need to date? Did you feel like you believe in dating more than one woman at a time?
Not,
Aaron.
not anymore. I used to, but now I don't. At my age, I'm one and done.
Okay, Les?
Yeah, so I also saying the second part of that question, how you define dating. So if you're talking about dating, like I'm dating one or two girls because I'm kind of interested in both of them, but I'm trying to choose which one I want, then no, definitely don't do that. Do I have friends that I go out with?
on
Like
dates.
more than one at a time, then yeah. But I keep it on a friendship level,
That's not dating, is it?
No, it's not. It's not. But some people, if a guy and a girl go out together, that's a date. Right?
I feel you.
And it may be a new friendship, and so very often new friendships be considered a date as well to some people. So I just want to really kind of define that, and it really depends on the intent. The intent is that you're really looking for something other than a friendship. Then no, that's just one person, and I wouldn't be doing that.
Okay, and then Ellis, you thinking dating more than one woman at a time?
Well, if you're being intentional, then you can't, because you're taking away from one, then the other. Your focus is just not on that one road. I think it's a fine line that if you're just meeting somebody and you're trying to figure out if you want to date them, that's different. You know what I mean? That's not intentional dating. That's maybe like socializing, right? Like socializing, so you get to know them if you want to be intentional with them. But you can't be half in and half out, right? You can't be half a Christian, half not. You can't be, I feel like if it's intentional and you have a destination to get to, you have a goal that you want to achieve, then
Okay.
you can't be one foot in and one foot out with another person, because at some point you're cheating somebody out of a piece of you.
And then I think in friendship, I think, or maybe the initial meeting, let's stop taking titles, because titles mean, unless they're defined, let me just say this, because it happened in both forums, okay? That everybody's interpretation of everything seems to be so convoluted and blurred and all of that. So the conversation, I think, or the safest thing is to communicate definitions, first of all. Like sometimes when women will say, well, what are we doing? And I've seen guys cringe on that because now they have to define something. But once they define it, it establishes, and then there's no harm, no foul, because it's like, I just told you what I'm doing. Right now, we're just friends, sweetheart. We're just friends. And you can even turn around and say, it's like we're scared to talk to each other. It's like they're scared that she's going to turn around and be offended. You can even say, well, how does that make you feel? Now, either she's going to say, because I kind of want it more. And you go, well, this is where I am right now. And then it's for her to, say, okay, well, that's not what I want. Or you can say, that's not what I want. But I think because we've been in many churches, I wanted to say this last night, but I didn't say it last night because I wanted to see what you guys were saying. And the term dating and friendship, and you mentioned it last night, Kerry, in the feed about the word courting. That sounds old-fashioned. But the thing is we need to make sure, because that we already speak two different languages as men and women. but we now need to get either an interpreter or just flat out clarity and say, okay, what does dating mean to you? Oh, that means that we're exclusive and there's nobody else. Oh, okay, well, that's not what it means to me. That means that I am now going around collecting quote unquote data from many people. That to me would be courting, which is exclusive. So until you hear the word courting, this is what I'm doing. Friendship. Okay. What does friendship mean to you? Are we kissing? Are we smashing? Okay, well, that's not what I do in friendship. And I think that we're sometimes afraid to have these conversations because we're scared of scaring someone away. But I'm gonna just tell you, if English is your first language, use it. Because if nothing else, I'm gonna save my heart. You're gonna be quite clear about me. You're gonna be quite clear. And it's not like I'm telling you off. I'm just going, let me define that for you. Let me tell you what I'm hearing. Let me tell you what you just said to me and how I interpreted that. And that's not me being over analytical. It's just clarity. Because at the end of the day, for me personally, I'm not trying to just salvage a relationship. I'm just trying to make sure that when we part ways, if we do, that the only thing they can say about me is she was clear. She was clear and I wasn't clear. And I don't think there's any fear in that. I'm talking to the ladies as well. It's just kind of like we need to define what the word is, because even if we say what our definition is now, we still going to meet somebody that wasn't watching the broadcast, and we just need to be clear. And I think we need to be in a habit of putting these titles and defining them, because everybody went to different churches and got one singles message of what dating was and what friendship was and all of that other stuff. And I think if we would just be intentional about it, I think all hearts and minds would be clear, and emphasis on hearts.
And then also, I would say accepting what the other person is saying.
Right.
You know, sometimes people don't accept and they live in their own reality. You know, one person is saying it out loud, but the other person in their mind, they want so much that they're not listening to the other person. So we have to be, take a step back and be patient and listen and let God's will.
But like one of the ladies said yesterday, is if your words are, and I'm not agreeing, I'm just saying, I'm just putting out a statement, is that if your words are saying one thing and your actions are saying something else, then we have mixed messages, So if it's like, oh, we're just friends, I'm not ready for a relationship. And then you're like, what you doing tonight?
Then right there, that's a flag all itself. And you're in
and it's right. But I'm saying, and I mean, of course, at that point, it's the boot on the butt. But that's not what happens sometimes. So I'm just saying, wherever people are maturity level wise and all of that.
I have a question for you then. Mm-hmm. For women, when does it go from friendship to dating to relationship? Because I was watching the feed last night and I was like, the lines were very misconstrued.
You know what? It's kind of like what I just said. My interpretation, I'm only speaking for Bridgette. I don't school the world. But I'm just saying that all I can say is me. We're friends until something else is said. You hear me? And but we're friends and we're going to do what I think friends should do. So when your actions start veering over into something I think dating people should do, you have now provoked a conversation that I need to have with you, because we're now somewhere else, whether you want to say it or not. I don't care if you're clear or not. The clarity needs to happen with me, because at the end of the day, the Holy Spirit is talking to me, and I know when my heart is involved, no, I didn't fall into anything. You know what I'm saying? It's not, I fell into love and he just didn't. I knew when I started liking you that I need to have some actions, because I'm liking you. And if you go tie your shoe, my heart's involved. So I got to go and handle Bridgette and take my heart to the Holy Spirit and say, I need to put it in check, because he just wants to be friends. Or maybe I need to have a conversation. Maybe he's veered into that relationship area and I didn't know it, and he didn't put on his blinker, So if I say it and say, okay, what are we doing right now? And if he's like, well, I thought we was dating. Well, you know what? I need you to communicate that, because, I didn't know we were there. And so I didn't want to assume we were there as the whole assume word. But if he says, oh, we're just friends, then it's for me now to take that data back and put my heart in check and say, Bridgette, he's just being your friend, babe. You're past the area that you need to be. You've crossed the line.
Right.
And then I say to him, well, you know what? Maybe we need a little time. You're cool. It's me. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be me. Everybody's responsible for themselves. We want to blame people, but you know when your heart is involved before anybody else. And you need to know that you took those warning signs and just bypassed them. He didn't make you like him. You liked him and you didn't say anything. And he said, I just want to be friends. And you were like, okay. And you know, everything he does makes you even more in love. So you have to stop it. Self-preservation. Self-preservation. So
yeah, but he's saying if they're saying they want to be friends, but like, you know, there's two different forms of friends with no intentions of you know, attraction in the future. But then there's friends with a friendship that grows into love. Because I mean, ultimately, like even with the marriage, you know, I remember watching a relationship goals thing, and the whole process was singleness, intentional dating, engagement, love, and then out of love comes children, and then repeat.
right. But here's the deal. Here's the thing about, and because you got to understand, we're in an arena that doesn't get a lot of training. So if we were getting constant training and talking about this on a regular basis, then definitely those steps are appropriate. But when it's like, you know, friends and then almost friends and then kind of friends and then friends plus this and then it's hard because folks are just trying to master the friend thing. They're not like friends and a half. You and I, we're friends and a half. It's like, what?
What, Bridgette?
All I'm saying, it's good on paper. Listen, I got one of those lists. When I did the singles ministry, we had a different step chart. We did. And it was good because we were learning constantly about singleness. So the chart was relevant. But because there's been a deficit for people, folks are skipping from friendship to engaged. And it's 4 steps in between there. It's 4 steps in between friendships and engagement. So when people come off of the engagement, they now want to go, well, we can be friends. Well, what is that? We went from friends to engaged. So I'm not fussing. I'm just saying that it just basically my ultimate statement is that I think that communication, until we get a lot of, you know, some training in it and some constant classes and it becomes even more familiar and a regular part of our lives, just talk, just say, first of all, be honest with yourself, as Josh says. Be honest with yourself first and know that you and I have past friendship and I need to just tell you that. And I just need to let you know that maybe I need to ease back. You may say, okay, Bridgette, I want you okay, so I'm gonna let you ease back. Well, that's the most impressive thing you can do for me because that shows you care about my feelings, not, well, I don't understand what I did. You know, you didn't do anything, it's me. It's me.
If you really care, you're gonna let them be ready, not just you be ready.
Yeah. Don't cover me in marriage and not cover me in singleness.
Yes.
Don't do that. Cover me. You're my brothers. And if I'm, you know, gone somewhere, and if you've gone somewhere, then it's for me to not sit there and just because I want you to like me or I've never had anybody treat me this way that I'm gonna let you sit back and think I like you because I just want you to. I need somebody to be opening the car door for me all day. That's selfish. And if I'm selfish in singleness, I'm about to be as even more selfish in marriage. So, but I appreciate you guys. I love you, first of all. And I'll say this openly, and I hope this replays in, you know, Africa. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys being on the show and being very candid and honest, and it's needed. And I just want you guys to know how much I love you and that everything you said tonight was fabulous. Are we still live? Look at your phones. Are we still live?
Still
Yeah,
live.
Okay. Sorry, I did my phone went blank. So I was thinking, did I pay the bill? No, I'm kidding. But thank you guys for being on the show. This was fabulous. I think that people will probably use this as a template to hopefully do this in other forums. I want to be copied in this arena. You guys are men that I respect highly, and I did not choose just anybody to be on the show, and you guys didn't let me down. The respect that I have for you is probably more than you could imagine. But I will tell you now only because we're live, and I wanted to be on record. So if you say I don't care, I can play it. But you are special to me. You are men of God. I appreciate you. Thank you for being who you are. I encourage you to continue in your walk with God. And I pray that God blesses you exceedingly above all you can ask or think. I pray phenomenal wives in your lives, astronomically great children, and that your seed is blessed. And when you do get married, I will sing for half because you are my brothers. You are my brothers, and I do need you guys at my wedding as security. Okay, so I need you guys to be there. But anyway, so again, just to close it out, you guys, in virtual land, I need you to communicate with me and know that the email again is thepurposepartytv@gmail.com. Tomorrow, 3:00, Sunday, August 16th, is going to be a power-packed time with Pastor Donald Bell. Now, listen, if you don't know him, then I am so sorry that you've been living under that rock. But we're going to expose him to you tomorrow on all of his wisdom, all of his greatness, and he is going to blow your hair back. And like I said, he has been married a long, long time to one wife. And so he has the credentials to speak into my life about anything. And you will hear him. I'm going to let him say his own credentials because I would probably sell him short. But there's not anybody else I think that I would pull as to be the expert other than this man. He is the one who does singles organizations and groups and in schools and all of that. He is the master of that. And so I want you guys to tune in tomorrow. Send me your questions. We're going to be talking group questions. I'll just let you guys know before I let you go that I need you guys to send me 2 questions on relationships so that I can put it in the pool so you guys can ask those questions. So I need you guys to email me at the email I've been talking about right now. And so send them to me tonight. And then at 3:00, please, please, please be here, you guys. And you're going to have a great time. If you thought that the girls were great and the guys are awesome, then this is going to be magnificent on tomorrow. 3:00 Pacific Standard Time. For my friend Rosalind, it's going to be 5:00 because she's in another state. But please tune in. And I'm going to end the show. And as I do with all of my shows, we have a phenomenal mantra here at the Purpose Party. So come on, guys. I need you guys to say it. Purpose. If not now.
Not now. When?
I love you guys.
Appreciate all the fellas.
Thank you.
Oh, say happy birthday to your daughter, Ellis.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say I appreciate all the Kingdom men that are on this panel. Appreciate you guys. And my daughter Kylie Merritt turns 16 on the 17th, Monday. Happy birthday, Kylie. I love you.
Happy birthday, Kylie. We love you. Thank you.
Love you, Jay.
Okay, bye.
Blessing you guys.
God bless.
Bye.